So answer key to the left, and here's the calculator. So if you're in Scratchpad, I want to encourage you to go to a document. So you are going to go to this doc, go to file. If you have you're going to go to new doc. And then if you have some kind of stuff that you don't care about saving, you're just going to say, no, you don't want to save it. Then you're going to go to add a graph. So I have a graph, and now I can see I can enter my equation right here. So here's my equation. Remember, your r's are your x's. So I'm going to go 2 times pi. Pi is down here in this lower left corner on your calculator. So I push my pi. And then I go times x squared. Instead of r squared, I'm putting x. So I push the x down here, and then I push the squared right here. And then I go plus, and I can go control division. That gives me my fraction. You don't have to do that, but I kind of like to see it. So control divide sign gives me my fraction bar. So then I go 240, and then I put the x down here in the denominator. So there's my equation. Double check it. 2 pi x squared plus 240 divided by x. Now look at my window is negative 10 to 10, negative 6.67 to 6.67. So when I push enter, I'm not seeing a whole lot of this graph. That's not a surprise. You need to go to your menu. So when you go to your menu, you go to window, and we need to change the window settings. So in the context of this situation, do I need any negative values? Not really, because I can't have a negative radius. Do I have a maximum? I'm just going to go with 10 for now, a radius of 10. That seems like it's pretty big, but you could go to 50 if you wanted, but I'm just going to start with negative 10. Again, do I have negative surface area? No, I don't. And then my surface area is going to be rather large. My volume was 240, or sorry, my volume was 120, but I'm going to go to numbers that are fairly large. So maybe I'm just going to go to 500 to be safe. And now I push OK. So I can see I only want the first quadrant. So now I have the first quadrant here, which is great. And this is my graph. And so I'm going to sketch that over here. I'm labeling my axes, radius, and surface area, and I'm sketching that graph. It's a little bit, it's not parabolic, it's just a little bit funky shape. And that's what we have. So now for letter B, it says, what is the smallest potential surface area? So what do? I go to my menu. I go to analyze graph. I want the smallest, which is my minimum. So I push minimum. I go to the left of where it looks like a minimum. I go to the right where it looks like a minimum. And I can see I have 2.673 and 134.680. Here I put 0.679. Yeah, if this is rounding to 3 decimal places, so I have 0.680. So if you don't have these 3 decimal places here, you can go to your menu and you can go to settings, and then you're going to go to fix 3. Right? You want to make sure you're at fix 3, not float 3. Float 3 is incorrect. So go to fix 3, change that so you have 3 decimal places here. Then if we look at our next question says, so what is my answer? Yeah, I already did the answer, 134.680 centimeters squared. Here it says, what is the surface area of the cylinder with a radius of 20 centimeters? So that's my input value. So I have 3 options. I told you one is you could just plug it in, right? You can do the math on the side. That's probably the most time consuming. The second one is you go to your menu, you go to trace, and you go to graph trace. Now see down here, it gives me a value. Before I tap anything, I just put in what I want. I want 20. It changes my X value to 20. So when I push enter, it changes it to 20. And then I can see that if I had a radius of 20, it would produce a surface area of 2,525.274, which is what I have over here, centimeters squared. So that was one option. My other option was to go Control T, bring up my table, and then I would scroll down. I'm using my down arrow button, and I'm going down until I get to 20. And I also see that, but you can see I don't have 3 decimal places here. So it gets a little more complex. Now I have to change the settings in my table. So how do I do that? I go up here and push the dock. Then I go down here to settings and status. Then I go to document settings. Then I go to fix 3. So I have to go down, 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 fix 3, and then it has my 3 decimal places. So the less you can change your settings, the better. So I go Control T to make that disappear. And now I'm back. Now my graph is messed up because I made it a 20. So now I have to go back to my menu. I want to go to my window. I want to change my window settings. I'm going to go to -1 to, I can go 20 maybe, or I'm going to go back to 10. And then I'm going to go -1 and back to 500. So there's my graph. So this last part, it says, what is the radius length? What radius length or lengths produce a surface area of 286? So I go here, I push my tab button. I have a second equation and I want my y values to be 286. So I type in that value 286 here into my y value. Oops, I go 286, I push enter, and now I have a horizontal line. Oops. I don't know why that's not working. Sorry, one more time. 286. So I have my horizontal line going through this graph. Now I need to find these 2 points of intersection. I go to my menu. I go to Analyze Graph. I go to Intersection. I can push to the left, drag. Remember, my shortcut is to write those 3 numbers down, 0.853, and then I continue to drag without pushing Enter, and I get 6.280. And so there I have it. Those are my 2 answers, 0.853, 6.280. That answers this question here. And that's it. Hopefully this helps. And yeah, have a great holiday. Bye.